It's about laying the foundation for long-term recovery and empowering communities to rebuild their lives and secure their future.
This is Phoenix Stories, where we look at sustainable development in post-conflict zones. I'm Professor Martin Spinelli at the University of Sussex, and on this episode of Phoenix Stories, I'm speaking with Dr. Ahmad Nabhan, PhD in Agriculture and Project Livelihood Manager for CARE International. Ahmad, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Martin. I'm happy to be with you today.
In a few words or a few sentences, can you please tell us what the main goal or mission of CARE International is?
Our mission actually in the northwest Syria is to empower the conflict-affected communities by addressing immediate humanitarian needs while fostering long-term resilience and sustainability. So, through the livelihood and early recovery sector, we aim to restore dignity and self-resilience among vulnerable population, with particular focus on the supporting women, youth, and marginalized groups.
Can you tell me about a few of your key projects at the moment for CARE International?
One of the most important projects under the livelihood and early recovery sector, which is the wheat value chain. Our intervention in wheat value chain, which is a critical component of food security and economic resilience in the region, CARE identifies significant gaps in this value chain caused by the year of conflict, including limited access to agricultural inputs, inefficient processing infrastructure, and challenges in securing affordable bread for the population. To address these gaps, CARE implemented a multi-stage intervention. Firstly, we supported wheat cultivation by providing vulnerable farmers with the essential inputs such as seeds, fertilizer in cash forms. Then we provide the technical training to enhance agriculture practices and increasing productivity per units area. At the end of the season, farmers contributed a portion of their harvest as a part of cost-sharing model, fostering ownership and sustainability. CARE purchased the wheat from these farmers at the subsidized rate to ensure the fair composition and supporting their livelihood. This wheat then proceed into flour. Finally, CARE supported the bakeries in the same area with the 50% of the flour or the capacity of these bakeries to enable them to produce bread and distribute it to the same community to support the access to the food. This comprehensive approach, this was an example about our intervention in northwest Syria. We supported the farmer to sustain wheat cultivation, which is strategic crops for Syria, and at the same time to support the infrastructure as silos, bakeries, and ensure access to the affordable bread.
What are and what have been some of the main obstacles for CARE in achieving those goals?
The primary challenges that we face in the post-conflicted or in the conflicted area in general, instability. So the ongoing security and economic instability make it difficult to plan and implement long-term intervention. In the humanitarian sector, our project, we have short-term project from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years maximum. Another challenges faced us actually the weak governance. So the fragmented governance structure in northwest Syria complicated coordination and collaboration with the local authorities. This is the most obstacles that's faced us. Speed of these challenges, we work to build sustainable system, but that's affect the time to achieve our goal. For example, if our goal to achieve sustainability in some activities in 2 or 3 years could delay our time to 5 or 7 or 8 years.
Can you tell me about a particular farmer or a particular wheat refiner that CARE International has worked with, how their life was complicated and challenging and difficult before CARE's intervention, and what the CARE intervention did for that person.
At the end of our project, we implement an impact study to evaluate our impact on our beneficiary. So during the end line, we can say, or the impact study, we found some of the results that highlighted our impact on the ground. Before the conflict in Syria, the government was control all of the wheat value chain. So they provide farmer with the support, they provide farmer with the seeds, then they purchase the product with subsidized bread, then they distribute the bread to the population. Then after the conflict, all of the value chain destroyed. Then the farmer stopped planting the wheat in their area. So after coming the organization, and CARE was the main actor in Northwest Syria in wheat value chain, we started to fill the gap in the wheat value chain. We have a percentage, for example, 50% of the farmer started to replant their land with wheat.
What does sustainability mean for you at CARE International? And what might sustainability mean for some of your beneficiaries if they have a different idea?
Sustainability is the ability to regain control over their lives and build a stable future. It means access to reliable food, clean water, healthcare, education, and livelihood that do not rely on the external assistance. In the agriculture context, the sustainability may involve restoring degraded farmland with eco-friendly techniques, ensuring that families can depend on their land for years. For other, it's may mean for farmer acquiring skills through vocational training, for example, some activities that provided by CARE or another NGO at the same area. For example, many of NGO, including CARE, providing vocational training or accessing financial tools. We have activities like Village Saving and Loan Association to give accessibility for the beneficiaries to financial resources, enabling them to grow business or invest in their community. The sustainability empower people to adapt changing the environment, such as the challenges posed by the climate change, and achieve long-term resilience.
I was really interested to hear you mention climate change and looking after land in a gentle way so that it will yield crops for decades and generations to come. That is not usually what many people think of in terms of sustainability in a post-conflict zone like Syria, like Northwest Syria. But you are clearly thinking about environmental sustainability as well as just economic stability. Is that right?
Our main strategic objective is to build farmer to have a knowledge, have resilience for the climate change and the impact of the climate change. So our main activities in Northwest Syria and the agriculture sector, which is climate smart agriculture. All of our design depend on the enhance the resilience for the farmer to be more strong against the climate change impact.
What are some examples of that climate smart agriculture that you mentioned on the ground in Syria? What does that look like?
For example, to adopt resistance seeds for the high temperature in Northwest Syria, to adopt the new techniques, irrigation, for example, to save water. Actually, there is many techniques that under our training, climate smart agriculture for farmer. And we have achievement in this regard for many of farmers started to change their behavior to the new modern techniques.
Ahmad, in talking to you about the kinds of aid that you are providing to people on the ground in Northwest Syria, the kinds of support, the kinds of relief, and the sustainable ethos that is guiding the mission of CARE, do you ever get pushback from the beneficiaries on the ground when you start to talk about sustainability?
We start our design by engaging the final beneficiary with the designs. At the beginning of any project, we will conduct an need assessment. During the assessment, we have interviews or questionnaires with the beneficiaries to ask them about the most important needs. We asking them about the sustainability of our intervention. During the impact study that I mentioned before, we were asking the beneficiary, if we stopped our aid or assistance for you, do you will continue in planting your land with wheat, which is you consider it as strategic crops for Syria? Some farmers say, yes, we will continue since we, during your intervention last 3 years, we have some asset. We started to rebuild. We have new knowledge you provided us by your training. So we will build on this to continue in the next years. On the other hand, some of beneficiaries say, unfortunately, we cannot. Since in the continued conflict in Syria, some people cannot, they use the assistant to just to meet their basic need at the same years and the same season. So they cannot continue to plant their land without assistance, without our support. All of these ideas, we consider it during next project. So we consider that, then we redesign or make modification or our design year by year.
So, what do you think is needed at all levels to make this kind of work sustainable in the long term?
First of all, we need cross-sector collaboration. What I mean by that, which is effective coordination between all of sector working under the humanitarian. For example, collaboration between food security, wash, health, protection sectors to ensure comprehensive solution or holistic solution in the same area. We need to address all of the problem in the same community to achieve long-term sustainable. When we address just, let's say, education and leave the problem related with livelihood and wash, we cannot continue with to long term. Another thing we need for advocacy for sustainable development. So transition from emergency relief to sustainable livelihood activities. That is essential for breaking the cycle of dependency. During the last 5 years or more, in CARE, we try to changing the thinking or behavior to our beneficiary to make this transition from emergency relief to a sustainable livelihood. Finally, let's say it's empowering the local community. Then I think they can sustain progress for long term.
How many years do you think we are going to need of supported sustainability development from NGOs before the NGOs can pull out of Syria and declare victory, as it were?
It's related with many factors. First of all, that is the security situation, economic situation. Then we can talking about exit strategy. We have exit strategy in all of our project. However, when we talk about the sustainability, this is somewhat is complicated to say that we don't need to support the farmer in northwest Syria or in Syria. Now, after 10 years of support from NGOs, the farmers now he has the ability to continue planting his land.
What do you think NGOs should be doing right now to get the best possible outcome for Syrians at this transitional moment?
Adopt, as I mentioned, the multi-sectoral approaches, maybe community engagement. We should work closely with the local community to during the design implementation and during the evaluation of our project and the programs. So this could ensure intervention are culturally relevant and address the actual need and empower the beneficiaries. Maybe focus on the sustainability during all of the project stages. Prioritize the solution that create lasting change, such as climate smart agriculture, as I mentioned, renewable energy solution, and skill development. Collaboration with the local civil society organization and another actor working in the same area. Finally, I think invest in the capacity building, provide beneficiary with the knowledge and skill they need to maintain and expand project, fostering ownership and self-resilience.
Ahmad, what approach do you think other governments like the UK government or the US government should be taking at this moment to make the transition happen in the most fruitful way possible and to help Syria develop into a truly sustainable state?
Our main objective in this regard, which is advocacy. The advocacy could be to the main donors, including the USA donors and the UK, focusing more on the factors that contribute to the sustainability. And from my sectors, which is livelihood, some kind of focusing more supporting funding on most of the project regarding of livelihood and air recovery.
I'd like to know how optimistic you feel right now about the future of a sustainable Syria. Do you think we'll reach a point where Syria has all of the amenities and the facilities that it had pre-conflict anytime in your lifetime, or is this going to be a much longer project? How optimistic are you?
I'm optimistic that we can achieve the sustainability in Syria because we have resources. We have resources, we have human resources, we have fantastic people in Northwest Syria which can contribute to the sustainability in general, but need support to rehabilitate some asset in Syria. And we can do that in not in for long term, let's say in medium term. So, from my perspective, I think during next 5 years, we can talk about the sustainability.
I have just one last thing, Ahmad. Do you have a final reflection or a main message that you would like to share with our listeners?
The sustainability in the post conflict zones goes beyond addressing immediate humanitarian needs. It's about laying the foundation for long term recovery and empowering communities to rebuild their lives and secure their future. At CARE, we recognize that sustainable change requires more than short-term relief. It demands holistic approach that integrates emergency aid with development practices that foster the resilience and relief. Also in Northwest Syria, where years of conflict have devastated livelihood and critical infrastructure, CARE combines immediate support with strategic intervention designed to address the root causes by vulnerability. So our work also focus on the creating opportunity for the most marginalized groups, particularly women and youth, by offering vocational training, financial services, support small businesses. All of these efforts not only help individual recover, but also strengthen local communities and foster social cohesion. We aim to transition from dependence on the aid to independence. This approach ensures that even amidst ongoing challenges, families can secure their livelihood and look toward a more stable future.
This is Phoenix Stories. On this episode, I've been speaking with Dr. Ahmad Nabhan, Project Livelihood Manager for CARE International. We had financial support from the Business School at the University of Sussex and technical support from the School of Media Arts and Humanities. Our podcasting consultants were Resilience Limited. The producer is Ruth Holroyd and the executive producer is Mirella Barbu. I'm Martin Spinelli. Thanks very much for listening, and if you work in the humanitarian or aid sectors, please know that your work is appreciated.